Today's random object is from a box of snails from the company called Toy Mini, and they're very realistic looking snails, but unfortunately they're not labeled. So I had to go online and search for images that matched the one I had in hand, and the one I settled on was the Dalles Hesperian, also called the hairy forest snail. These snails live in the Pacific Northwest, tucked into very wet rock piles near springs and streams in the Columbia River Gorge. They prefer basalt talus slopes where the rocks stay cool during the summer and provide deep crevices to hide in. Most of the time, they do not venture far from these damp microhabitats because they're extremely sensitive to environmental changes. The compact, narrow, very high shell is what tipped me off about identifying this as the Dalles Hesperian. That shape is different from most snails because it allows them to squeeze into narrow cracks between rocks. The shell is typically dull brown or olive color, which helps it blend into the forest floor. Many Hesperian snails grow stiff hairs on their shells. These structures are made from the same protein that forms the outer layer of the shell itself. They're not like hair that mammals have, but little stiff, spiky hairs that collect dirt and debris as they slide through the forest floor. Scientists believe the hairs might help the snail move through the wet leaves or help camouflage the shell by trapping all the dirt and debris. This makes them harder for predators like birds to spot. Land snails can breathe through their skin. They have a small opening for air called a pneumostome, but they also absorb oxygen directly through their moist body surface in a process called cutaneous respiration. It helps them survive when they are tucked deep inside their shells. They must stay in damp areas to keep this from drying out. Their diet consists of decaying leaves and fungi. They act as recyclers in their ecosystem by breaking down organic matter. They use a sandpaper-like tongue called a radula to scrape up food. This tongue has thousands of microscopic teeth. They help turn dead plants into nutrient-rich soil. Hesperian snails belong to a group that diverged millions of years ago as part of the family Polygyridae, there you go, Polygyridae, which is native to North America. Their ancestors likely moved into the Pacific Northwest as the climate changed and adapted to the specific moisture levels of the Columbian River Gorge. They've remained isolated in these pockets for a very long time. Construction of the Dalles Dam destroyed much of their habitat. The dam was completed in 1957 and flooded large areas where the snails lived. This event permanently altered the local shoreline and rock formations. Many colonies were lost under the rising water of Lake Celilio. The remaining populations are now disconnected from each other, and we will likely see them evolve away from each other in real time because of that isolation. The total range of this snail is less than 100 square miles. They are only found in a small section of the Columbia River Gorge in Oregon and Washington. This tiny footprint makes them one of the most geographically restricted snails in the region. Most populations exist in just 2 counties because they do not travel far. They cannot easily find new homes, and even if they could, it would take centuries for them to relocate. This species is currently listed as sensitive species in Oregon. There are likely fewer than 50,000 individuals remaining in the wild. State agencies track their numbers to prevent total extinction. Protecting the cold water springs in the gorge is the main goal for their survival. They face constant threats from road construction and rising temperatures, and there's no real way to undo the damage that was done in 1957 when the dam was built.